Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm a sleepwalker. Most of the time, it's not a big deal. I go to the kitchen and raid the fridge, or I go sit in the living room for a while. I don't remember anything the next day. My mom has special locks on the doors to keep me from wandering outside, and if she hears me get up, she'll lead me back to my bed. When a girl at school, Kate, invited me for a sleepover, I was a little nervous. What if I did something really weird in my sleep and everyone made fun of me? But I decided to go. My mom warned the friends' parents about my sleepwalking so they wouldn't freak out if I did it. The evening was super fun. We watched movies, ate popcorn, told stories. I got tired before the other girls, so I got in my sleeping bag and drifted off. The next morning, everyone was acting really weird. One girl, Michaela, finally said, "Dude, Kelly, when were you going to tell us?" "Tell you what?" "That you're like an amazing artist?" I didn't know what they were talking about until Michaela held up an amazing colored pencil portrait and said I'd drawn it. I denied it, but Michaela said that they'd watched me draw it last night. It seemed impossible. I didn't even know who the person in the portrait was. "You don't remember drawing it?" she asked. "She sleepwalks," Kate announced. Her mom told my mom. Everyone stared at me as I blushed. They all wanted to know how I'd drawn it, if I remembered anything from last night. All I wanted was to go home, away from their questions. I was super freaked out. No way had I drawn this picture. I didn't know how to draw. I showed my mom the portrait, and she was amazed too. "You drew this?" "No," I protested. "I mean, maybe? I don't remember. I think they're playing a prank on me." But if I hadn't drawn it, who had? Then my mom told me that back when she was first researching my disorder, she came across stories like this. People who had amazing talents that only came out when they were sleepwalking. She said it was rare, but I might be one of those people. I was so confused. But an internet search confirmed she was right. There were people who were amazing artists when they slept, but could barely draw a straight line when they were awake. It was kind of cool. My mom was super excited. She left art supplies in my room the next night, and we joked about the Picasso that would be sitting on my nightstand when I woke up. But nothing happened. Nothing happened for 2 weeks, and my mom seemed weird, like she was getting frustrated with me. That made me feel weird too. At school, the sleepover girls hung around me more. They asked me if I drew every night. I didn't feel comfortable talking about it, and I didn't know what to say. Then, finally, it happened again. I woke up and I'd drawn a gorgeous portrait. You would have thought my mom had just won the lottery. She was so excited. "I've contacted the local news station," she said when I got home. "They want to interview you." What? I was stunned. "You're going to be on TV." I wasn't sure I wanted to be, but I tried to act excited. "What if they don't believe I really drew those pictures?" I asked. "Anyone could fake it." "Don't worry. I filmed it on my phone," my mom said. "What?" "It's no big deal. I heard you stirring, so I went to your room and set the video up. Then I left and let you do your thing." I was horrified. My own mom was filming me sleeping? But what could I do? She was so happy. The interview went okay. I was nervous and had no real way to answer their questions, since I didn't remember doing the drawings. So my mom answered for me. After the interview aired, I got more sleepover invitations. When nothing happened at the sleepovers, I got the sense people were disappointed, like my mom had been. Or was that just me being paranoid? My mom set up a YouTube channel for me, saying she'd try to get more videos of me sleepwalking. She wanted me to check every day to see if we had new subscribers or new comments. It got exhausting. I didn't want to go viral. I just wanted to be myself. I went to another sleepover, and the next morning, everyone was snickering. I must have drawn. My heart leaped with the familiar excitement and discomfort. I was amazed by my own talent. But it was so strange. Look at the pictures we took, Michaela showed me on her phone. On it were pictures of me in all kinds of weird clothes. I looked so stupid. You were sleepwalking, and you just put on whatever we told you to. She collapsed into giggles as Kate started joking about putting the pictures in the yearbook. I left, almost in tears. I hated how people kept exploiting my sleepwalking. That night, in my own room, I saw the art supplies my mom had laid out. Furious, I threw them in the trash. My mom was mad when she found out the next day, yelling at me about how expensive the supplies were. Just butt out of my life, I shouted. I'm not some trained monkey. I don't want you to film me when I sleep. I don't want to be on TV. I don't want to draw. You're so selfish, Kelly. We could be famous, you know? That hurt a lot. For the next week, my mom and I barely spoke. At school, people laughed when I walked by or yelled out questions about my sleepwalking. I knew Michaela and Kate had told everyone. Pictures of me at the sleepover cropped up on social media. I was miserable. But then, one day, Stacy, a girl from the sleepover, sat at my lunch table. Hey, she said. I muttered hi, wishing she'd go away. I just wanted to tell you, it really sucks the way people treat you. I know it's not the same exactly, but I have Tourette syndrome. What does it mean? I asked. Well, I can't exactly control my speech and movement all the time. People used to try to get me to yell bad words because they thought it was funny. They'd take videos. It was awful. And my parents were way too in my business all the time because of the disorder. I rolled my eyes. Tell me about it. Part of me wanted to tell Stacy to leave, but part of me was curious. So, what did you do? She shrugged. My therapist told me I had to set boundaries. Like, let people know that it wasn't okay to make jokes. And it kind of worked. Hardly anyone teases me now. We talked for the rest of lunch and hung out more during the week. If anybody snickered at me in the halls, Stacy shut them down. Eventually, I realized if Stacy could set boundaries, so could I. I told my mom that evening that I was upset about what had happened, that I didn't want her to film me sleepwalking, and I didn't want to be on TV or on YouTube. I just wanted to be myself. She was a little defensive at first, but eventually she agreed she shouldn't have done that. I talked to Kate and Michaela too. Kate was nice about it, but Michaela was kind of whatever. But now I have Stacy as an ally, and I know she'll stick up for me. I've even started going to sleepovers at Stacy's, where there's no art supplies and no hidden cameras. We just hang out and have fun. I still draw occasionally when I sleepwalk, and I do keep the drawings because I think they're cool, but they're just for me, not to share with the world.
My heart is broken forever because of my mother. Hello, I am Lisa, and I hate drama. However, it seems like in life, the things you hate the most are the things that would most likely happen to you. So, here's my story. I grew up in a small town in North Carolina, and I was such a happy child. Until one day, everything changed. My mother decided it's time for her to move out and pursue another career in another state. I mean, okay, why not? My mother was always the most hardworking person I know, and the sweetest of them all. She's professional and ambitious. She's beautiful and kind. She was seriously the most amazing person in my eyes. I told her that even though it will be so difficult for me to move to another city and leave my friends and school, but it's fine. I didn't want to stand in her way of achieving her dreams. She has always done her best to make me happy, so I should do the same. There was my surprise. My mother looked at me sadly. She lowered her head and mumbled some words I didn't get. I asked her to repeat what she said, and there was my shock. The ultimate shock of my life. My mom looked at me and said she cannot take me with her. She said that she's moving to another city, but I am not. Do you know what's even worse than that? She said that I will be moving to my father's house, and she assigned all the official papers for that. At the age of 15, and all of a sudden, my mom gives up my custody, and now I need to live with my dad and his family that I loathe so much. That was the first turning point of my life. My mom was the person I loved the most, but now she's the one I hate the most. She disappointed me so much. How can it be possible that people you love the most are the ones who hurt you the most? I couldn't stop myself from hating her and talking badly about her in front of my friends and teachers, but none of them seemed to care and to express any opinion. Okay, so this is what happened next. I moved to my dad's house, and surprisingly, he was so nice to me. It was the first time in my life that I see affection in his eyes. I was sure he's going to humiliate me in front of his other kids, but he didn't. He actually did the opposite. He didn't let Jason, his son, mistreat me. I couldn't understand any of this, but oh well. Months passed by, and my life was going back to normal. But I was so angry that my mom didn't call me, not even once. I started to suspect the whole situation. A person cannot change like that in a matter of a few days or months. So, I decided to investigate the whole situation myself. I needed to know why my mom disappeared. I have blamed myself for months that I was the reason she couldn't achieve her goals, and that's why she decided to continue her life without me. But that didn't make much sense to me. I mean, why now? I gave up on finding her after a few attempts. However, what I found out next was the other turning point in my life. On a Saturday morning, while I was still asleep, my phone rang. I looked at the screen, and it was my mom's number. My heart jumped out of my body for a second. What? Is this a dream? Is it a reality? I picked up the phone so fast and said, "Mom?" She said, "I love you. I am sorry this is happening, but I cannot do this anymore. Please come see me in the hospital, now." I jumped out of my bed, and without hesitating for a second, I rushed to the hospital to see my mother. She was attached to machines, looking very weak and different. It was when I found out that my mother has been fighting liver cancer alone for several months now. I couldn't stop crying when I found out that she wanted to protect me, and that's why she pretended to be moving out. All of this hit me that moment, and I felt so fragile. It was the last time I see my mom. I am thankful I got to hug and kiss her for hours and hours. But now, years after that, the only advice I can give you is to never make any judgments without listening to the others or learning the situation. Sometimes in life, people you love the most are the ones who hurt you the most because apparently they love you the most.